Hi and welcome back to our kitchen. Come on in and sit right down. Today I'm going to be making an easy Chipotle salsa. I'm not talking about the restaurant. I'm talking about salsa that's no cook and then we put Chipotles in it. I'll be right back to show you how it's done. Okay, I've got my food processor out here. You can do this in a blender, but the food processor seems to keep it more chunky than the blender does. Blender seems to break it down a little bit more. But first of all, I learned a trick, and I used cilantro in this recipe. And I was putting everything in here and then putting the tomatoes in and putting the cilantro on the top. And it wasn't blending in that well. So I'm taking a handful of cilantro, put it on the bottom. I've got a Poblano pepper here that I took the seeds out. Well, I did take all of them out, but then I sliced it into 1 inch. It doesn't matter because it's going to get blended up anyway. I want to add some garlic. These are little, so I'm going to put 4 of those in. And then I want to add 2 yellow peppers. I took the tops and the seeds off. And these are frozen. I freeze my peppers. And I want to put in some lime juice. And that brings the flavoring out, believe it or not. And I slice it so I can squeeze it. And I might need one more. There we go. You push, and then in this case I had to roll it over to the side to get the juice out. Next I'm going to add the tomatoes. Now these are whole tomatoes, and just use whatever you have in your cupboard. I use crushed tomatoes, I use diced tomatoes, fire roasted diced tomatoes, anything you have. Because who wants to run to the store for one thing? Not me. And then I've got some oregano. And this is Mexican oregano, but you just use your regular oregano, that's fine. Put that in there. And then I have some chipotle pepper that's going to go along with chipotle seasonings, or the chipotle in the can. I'm just going to do half a teaspoon. I have some cumin here. These are the flavors that I like. And 1 teaspoon of cumin. Sprinkle that in. And then also what goes together with cumin is coriander. And you don't want to add the same amount, you just want to add like half a teaspoon of this. And I've got the onions that I cut up earlier. I'm using a red onion, and I cut it up into little pieces. Throw it in here. Like I say, it's all going to blend up. And here's the secret weapon. It's Chipotles in adobo sauce. Now, I'm going to a party, and I know that my salsa that I made before is quite mild. Everybody can enjoy it, but I'm going to a party where the people like heat. They like it hotter. So I'm going to put 2 chipotle peppers in here from the can. I just get a fork and take them out. What they are is marinated jalapenos. And they put them in this adobo sauce. And the flavor of chipotle is awesome. And I'm not going to put any juice out of the can because I might not be able to eat it. So I'm going to make it hotter, but to where I can eat it. I'm going to put the lid on. First of all, you want to pulse it. And then what I do is I roll it pretty fast. taste it. I better get a fresh spoon. I don't want to taste it with the fork that I use. And see, oh, I forgot the salt, so we're going to put the salt in a minute. Yeah, it's a little zesty. Let me get my salt. Good pinch of salt. And that's all the seasoning we need. We're not going to put any black pepper in here. We're going to blend the salt up. Then you put it in the refrigerator and you take it to your party. Take a bag of chips too. I'll be back later on with a guacamole recipe. See you then. Okay, kids, I'm going to make guacamole for you. Some people don't like it. We didn't grow up on it in Ohio. In fact, I didn't even know what avocado was till I moved to California. But some people love it. And I have one friend in particular that could eat the whole bowl. So he likes it. I'm going to cut these in half. And most people go like this with their knife to take the pit out. I don't recommend that because you have a chance of cutting your wrists or your fingers or whatever. And then I'm going to take this little bit of black spot out. If I wasn't doing this for a party, I would leave this in. It's not bad. It's just a little bit ripe. I scoop it out, and then I put it in a bowl. And this also has a little bit. Scoop it out with your spoon. These are good. Now what you got to do when you're hunting for avocados for guacamole is you want to squeeze them. You don't want them too mushy. You just want them where they go in a little bit. And then right here is the end where you tell if they're really where they're supposed to be. Because if this is hard, then they need another day. What I do is I bring them home. I put them in paper bags because you get them at the grocery store. They're hard. Put them in paper bags and let them sit for this. These were 4 days, I believe, 4 or 5. Anyway, let them ripen up in the paper bag, and then you can make your guacamole. So you have to plan ahead, unless your store sells the avocados that say ripe on them. My store does not. So I'm going to take the rest of these out, and I'll be right back. Here I have quarter of an onion. This is a red onion. You can use white, Vidalia, whatever you like. And it just makes it prettier. And then I have one small Roma tomato that I chopped up. Put that in. And I have one jalapeno that I diced finely. And put that in. You don't want to junk this stuff there up. In other words, what I experimented with a lot of things, and I kept adding more stuff, and it doesn't work. You need the taste of the avocado to come out. You don't want to junk it up with a whole bunch of stuff. No black pepper, no garlic, and I'm just going to do a pinch of salt. That's a pretty good pinch because they need salt. I'm going to take my potato masher and start mashing these. You don't want to mash them into oblivion. You just want them a little bit chunky. Ooh, I can't wait. This stuff's good. Mm-mm. I want to stir it up and see if there's still any big chunks. Plus I want to get the peppers and the onion and the tomato mixed in there pretty good. If you see a chunk, just take your spoon and go like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. Make it your way, make it to your taste. Maybe you like chili powder in it. Maybe you like a little bit of spice to it, but I like it just plain. So spice it up if you want, but I recommend just letting the natural flavors of the avocado come out. It's like eating butter. It's so good. And put some lime juice in. This brightens it up, plus keeps it from browning. And there's a trick for if you don't eat it all, put it in the refrigerator with some cling wrap or saran wrap, and push it down onto the top of the guacamole. That seals it with no air, and it doesn't turn its brown fast. I've eaten it a couple days later, and what I do is if there's any brown on the top, I take it off with a spoon, and the underneath is still looking like this. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope to see you next time. Please subscribe, push the bell, share this recipe. I'll see you next time. Bye.